I'm Kristin Gutierrez, your host for Women in Localization's Ask the Expert series. And today I am joined by Kathryn Santora. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me today. Why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, awesome. Well, thanks for making time to chat. And this is my first time actually doing something like this, so it's pretty cool.
Yes.
I think after this, I guess that means I'm officially an expert, right? So I am an account manager. I'm a member of Women in Localization in the Northeast chapter. I'm based in Rochester, New York, and I've been here my whole life. I work remotely from home with 2 dogs and 2 cats.
Oh, full house.
Yep.
That's fun. Well, thank you for being so brave and putting yourself out there for others to learn from. I think it's really important that in this series we talk with women at various stages of their careers because everyone can learn from somebody something. So tell me about your background, and it could be localization related, or maybe it's not, because maybe this is your first job, although I know it's not. So just tell us about your background.
Sure. So I actually came into the industry from a teaching background. I was an ESL teacher, and I knew I wanted a career involving languages, but I didn't really know that much about the industry. So my first role, my first time getting my feet wet was working with coordinating interpreting assignments, and actually doing in-house DTP, which is kind of a weird way to enter the industry, but gave me an insight into like what's going on here, and then started to learn more about what different roles you could have in this industry. And so I've worked as a project manager, and most recently in the past few years I've been an account manager, and working with clients. I really love the client facing side of things, so yeah.
Wow,
the background on me.
That is fascinating. So an ASL teacher, or ESL, sorry, an ESL teacher, and so you're fluent in Spanish, I presume, or working knowledge.
Yeah, a little bit, yep.
And
working knowledge.
And then you did interpreting, you said.
Right, coordinating interpreting. So just intaking the requests and setting up an interpreter, making sure they're there, and doing the whole thing, invoicing and everything.
To DTP, to project management, to account management.
Yeah, pretty interesting path. So I think I say I've worn many hats, and it's been helpful for me to have that broad experience.
I bet that helps you be able to empathize and with both your internal teams, like from an operational perspective, because you're like, I get it, I've been there, I've done that. And then also with your clients, because you've seen both sides of the house from sales and operations. So
exactly.
I love the well-rounded background. And also, as I interview a lot of women, it really is, there is no straight path to anything. And I think that in and of itself is what gives just insight to women or people in general who might be at the Monterey Institute or might be graduating college, right? And saying they want to break into this industry, but they don't know where to start. Did you always know where you wanted to go, or are you still figuring that out? No right or wrong answer.
Yeah, I think I am still kind of figuring it out. I know I definitely will be staying in this industry for the long run, and I see a big future. I think it's an exciting industry to be part of. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I guess at my first few years, I thought that everyone starts off as a project manager. Like, I didn't even know that there was other things that you could do and ways to break in. So pretty interesting.
That's great. Okay. Well, so then share some wisdom or pieces of wisdom that you've learned in your, career path.
Sure. So I think you kind of almost touched on it there, but I think showing empathy has been the biggest thing. And people talk about it a lot, and I know it's important for every industry, but it's been really, I think, the most helpful thing that I've practiced in my profession here. especially having these different roles and being on different sides of things has been really helpful. So, having insight into what production looks like and feels like, and also having the experience of actually being the one interfacing with the client is really helpful. But I think a lot of clients that I work with, they'll tell me that they think that I'm very responsive and understanding. And I think that kind of shows through, like my empathy. I'm trying to do my best to really understand where they're coming from and make inferences, even when maybe it's not written right there, but you can make an inference that things are more critical or less critical. So just kind of discussing empathy, really being receptive to the tone and the way people are speaking, and understanding what they're probably going through on their side, and putting things in perspective is really helpful to come up with the best solution.
Yeah. I love that. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing and for being our guest.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.